After a series of amazing wins and shocking announcements, it appears that Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone isn't done making the headlines this year, even after she decided to sit out the World Championships in Budapest last month. And just recently, Sydney once again hit the news. Don't worry, it's a good kind of news. Her fans deserve that after their disappointment last month.
Can't wait to see you guys at the World Championships in Budapest.
When everyone saw this, including myself, we were very excited. We had all been looking forward to seeing Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone make history in the 400-meter flat, after owning the 400-meter hurdles for years. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see her run and own the track in Budapest. But to be fair, Sydney too had been looking forward to running in the 400-meter in Budapest. Nevertheless, we all understand how important it is to prioritize one's health. That said, we respect that Sydney had to make that decision, which couldn't have been easy for her, for sure. We all know that once she's well enough, she can still prove to the world that she's strong enough to compete and win in different events, even after withdrawing from the Worlds. And since we have no clue when that will be exactly, but we do know that we can expect her at the Paris Olympics next year, let's have a little flashback of her races this year. In early June, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone opened her first outdoor race of the season at the 2023 Paris Diamond League. It was then that she first strayed from the 400-meter hurdles, where she is the reigning Olympic and world champion and 4 times broke the world record. At the time, sports analysts and enthusiasts said that however she performed at the event could dictate the rest of her season and may even impact her 2024 Olympic plans as well. Her prospects didn't look good at first, especially since she was going to run against Marilady Paulino of the Dominican Republic, the Olympic and world silver medalist in the 400, and Salwa Eid Nasir of Bahrain, the 2019 world champion. When Sydney finished the race in second place, it came as a surprise. Imagine, it was her first 400-meter flat race in 5 years, and yet she outran the 2019 world champion. That's quite a start, both in her 2023 season and her 400-meter flat journey. She literally had a great start in the race too, starting fast out of the blocks in her first flat lap race in nearly 5 years.
There you go.
But
A test for McLaughlin-Levrone, who has got Marilady Paulino up on her shoulder. She's already drifting past her, a really aggressive first 100 meters, and now
as can be expected, Paulino caught up with Sydney down the final bend before pulling ahead on the straight to take victory in a meeting record 49.12.
working really hard. This is brilliant from Paulino. It looks like Levrone went too quickly. McLaughlin has been reeled in here. She's paid for that aggression. Paulino much more measured, and she comes through in 49.12. It is a meeting record.
After her first race of the season, people were clamoring to know which event she'll be competing in Budapest. Her specialty event, the 400-meter, or her new event, the 400-meter flat. At the time, though, she still wasn't sure if she would be competing in the hurdles or flat in the World Championships. Is it bad to say I don't know? She said in a press conference. But her succeeding races were all in the 400-meter flats, so people began to assume that she'd probably be on the 400-meter flat list instead of the 400-meter hurdles. Just so you know, running at both events isn't feasible because of the schedule. Sydney's next race was at the NYC Grand Prix, where she ran against Gabby Thomas, who also specializes in a different event but has decided to run in the 400-meter flat. While both are great athletes and outstanding runners in their respective events, it was Sydney who reached the finish line first. At the 30-second mark, the gap between the two was very obvious. Although Gabby Thomas was remarkably fast, Sydney wasn't just about to let her be. So at the end of the race, it was Sydney who cruised to victory at the NYC Grand Prix. That's not all. Sydney achieved a
new personal best, 49.51.
which is also notably the 4th fastest time in the world this year. In an interview, Sydney admitted that the 400-meter sprint may have the same distance as her event, the 400-meter hurdles, but that's where the similarity stops. The flat is definitely harder in my opinion. It's hard to kind of figure out your cadence mid-race. At least with hurdles, I kind of know where I'm at. It's a different kind of pain, but the challenging good one, Sydney said. Compared to the Diamond League race in Paris, I went out a little more conservatively to kind of feel the back end a little better. I did a good job of that, she told reporters. Some things to clean up, but a PR is a PR. After that win, Sydney gained more confidence in running the 400 meter, so it wasn't surprising at all when she cruised to a 400 meter heat win on the opening day of the 2023 U.S. Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon early last month. Shortly after that, Sydney put up a 49.79 time to easily win the day's third heat. After all 4 heats, McLaughlin's time was the fastest overall, ahead of Britton Wilson's 50.08 and Lina Irby-Jackson's 50.80. That said, it wouldn't surprise you at all to know that Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone sprinted to a win at the U.S. Championships. She claimed the national title with a time of 48.74 seconds at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. What's more, she almost broke the American record of 48.70 set by Sonia Richards-Ross in 2006. She may not have done it, but Sydney is now the 3rd U.S. woman in history to run under 49 seconds with her U.S. Championships in the 400 meter, clocking at 48.74 seconds, which is also the fastest of the year so far. That time was just 0.04 seconds slower than Sonia Richards-Ross's American record and put McLaughlin-Levrone 10th on the all-time list. The greats always push themselves, and I want to be one of them. So I have to push myself and get out of my comfort zone. McLaughlin told U.S. broadcaster NBC afterward, "I'm just happy to be here." And then, voila! Shortly before the World Athletics Championships, Sydney took to her Instagram and posted an Instagram story a few days ago announcing that she will not compete at the upcoming World Athletics Championships in Budapest, Hungary. "I am sad to share that I must withdraw from this year's World Championships meet in Budapest," wrote the 400-meter world record holder. "After consulting with my doctors and coaches, I need to take care of a minor knee issue so that I can be fully healthy for next year's Paris Olympics. I look forward to seeing everyone back on the track soon." And while off the track, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone doesn't appear to be just sitting on the sidelines. Nope, of course she isn't. It was very recently announced that Neutrogena signed Olympic gold medalist Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone as an ambassador. The U.S. track star will represent the skincare brand alongside existing ambassadors Jenna Ortega and Chloe and Halle Bailey. "We have loved watching Sydney's success over the years and cannot wait to continue to grow as a brand with her by our side," said Natasha Hobrick, head of Neutrogena Equity and Strategy. "We feel confident that this partnership will help inspire consumers across generations." For her part, Sydney shared, "My schedule can get pretty busy with training and meets, and so I do not always have the time to spend scrolling and testing out the latest in skincare and beauty trends, especially when, in reality, they may not be great for my skin." She added, "That is why I'm so excited to be partnering with Neutrogena to help people everywhere learn what is really vital for their skin's health." And while Sydney is recuperating, Norwegian track star Jakob Ingebrigtsen is making his mark. Watch this to see for yourself.